Namaskar and welcome to this exciting episode of Sattology, Debunking Mythology. Sattology is science of truth, the study of truth, and mythology means science or study of fake lie or imagination. Don't use the word mythology for ancient Indian history, especially in the academic circles now, and also increase the usage of the word Sattology in your regular circle so that you know that you are differentiating mythology with Sattology. So you all know him very well. So I've got this friend back on the show. So let us welcome Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
Victory Whale, and thanks for having me on.
Abhijit, so the real Russia Gate is happening where European economic statistics are out. I know you don't speak on economics. I won't go there, but I'm just saying from the strategic point of view, the report is out that poverty is increasing in Europe.
Correct.
And the Germany, their biggest economic powerhouse, is going down. So what is your analysis from India and what is happening? The real Russia Gate. This is real Russia Gate now.
Well, Russia Gate is what? The Russian economy ultimately can't sustain this kind of pressure. But, I think it was Tsar Alexander who said that Russia has two great generals who never let her down, General January and General February. So that is going to be the real test because that is when the Europeans are going to get screwed. And it all depends on if Europe can pull through without riots this winter. If they manage to pull through, great. If they don't manage to pull through, well, enjoy yourself. I'm salivating at the prospects of this winter.
So in the suddenly in in the American media, the happiness over the Ukraine war has disappeared now, completely out. And it used to be a point where patriotism lessons were given every minute to all of us, that you have to be patriotic, support the troops. Obviously, we support the troops very much. It's all gone.
But they're not American troops. The Ukrainian troops.
That's right. Keeping the borders open here and supporting the sovereignty of Ukraine, it was such a hypocritical idea, the whole thing in the first place. He said, if you can...
I think it's lovely. Keep your borders open and I'll also come there. I'll claim I'm a homosexual being, which is true, but I'll claim that I'm being persecuted here, which is totally false. But, we can get somebody to bash me up maybe, and I can claim I'm persecuted and I can just come over there.
True. That's what people are doing actually at the border nowadays. So the Texas sent all their new immigrants to New York, and the New York, they're staying in 7-star hotel where most of the people can.
Lovely.
And
of course, I really pity the immigrants because New York hotels are not very nice. I think every hotel I've stayed in except the St. Regis was absolutely atrocious. So love and commiserations to all the immigrants out there.
So the Indian Navy sign is changing, and I'm very happy that they're replacing the Indian Navy's signet, which was there, which was on a John's cross, I think, and there was a Indian flag on one corner, right-hand corner. So now they're replacing it with Indian flag and the naval crest sign, and which is Indian naval crest with the. So what is the significance you see now? Because this is a very welcome move. This is the last thing we are decolonizing of one of the Indian armed forces.
I wish it was accompanied by other stuff as well, because decolonization doesn't mean emptying your brain as well. I would have been really happy if this had happened with what do you call it, with a sort of rationalization of the procurement process and things. But for me, this is just a minor thing. I would much rather have a navy that wins battles where the cross is kind of irrelevant to us than a navy that is now using this to kind of hide the fact that it's not using it to hide. It's just big deal. They still need to mentally decolonize. That's the problem. They haven't mentally decolonized. I mean, things like whistling people on board. Why do you want to whistle people on board? When somebody comes on board, you're meant to play that little Why? It's not our tradition, is it? Why do you want to do that? Your uniforms are Western uniforms. Are you getting rid of them? No. What? I mean, your equipment is all Western. Your missiles are Israeli or French, or your next fighter aircraft in the Navy is either going to be American or uh, French. What? I mean, you're getting rid of the flag, great.
You are absolutely right, because most of our equipment, most of the Indian Navy equipment is a Western equipment, or the ones which they're designing within the uh, are also not Indian, like the way designing, which is a copy of the other models actually. So the decolonization in the mind can only happen with a long-term strategy, because at the end of the day, if you look at the U.S. Armed Forces, Air
I
Force,
agree. The issue is these people have no strategy.
long-term
You
strategy.
just have to look at the no, no. Forget long-term strategy. They don't even have a medium-term strategy. Okay, you'd think if they had even a medium-term strategy, they would procure all their ships around one type of engine. No. Three, four different kinds of engine. Enjoy yourself. You'd assume that they would launch a contract for 24 submarines, all of one kind, so that you can localize all the technologies, create the economies of scale locally. No, they don't want to do that either. So it's this is just a waste of everybody's time.
There's a very classical example when F-16 was launched during its time in 1975.
Mm.
76 was F-15 launch, 77 is, I think, F-18 launch. Very old technologies, old planes. They were far
Hmm.
ahead of their time, but still behind Russia. Russia had more powerful planes during that time.
I would disagree with that. I don't think they were behind Russia because by this time, what had started happening was they were believed to be behind Russia because they thought everything was kinetics, kinetics, kinetics. And remember, it is in the 1980s that the entire digital revolution took off, where the Western digital lead went so far ahead, and these planes were planned with digital upgrades. So I would say by around 85, 86, the average F-16 was leaps and bounds ahead of any Russian plane. And obviously, it applies to the F-15 and the F-18 as well.
So no, I'm saying the evolution what they did was like F-16, they made it twin engine, F-15, F-16, F-18, twin engine. So they use the same technology, same platform, but is a bigger capacity.
Uh, F15. So F15, F16. So the original F15 used two of the same engines that the F16 used for purposes of commonality. But see, that's vision. Whereas on the other hand, that entire set of uh, Russian planes that evolved during the time, MiG-29 and Sukhoi 27, they were essentially trying to copy the F-14 Tomcat, right? So Russia had already fallen behind quite considerably by the 1970s.
You know. So if you look at the see, American media reports, I don't even trust nowadays because they keep changing. So
Yeah, me neither.
I stopped looking at them. And
I
thank
don't trust any media. It's not just American media, huh? It's all media is shit.
True. We have to just go independently search it and find out what is the
Yeah,
truth behind everything.
yeah,
It's a common
yeah.
thing nowadays. The Indian media is also not, because they carry all the American media stuff and in a regurgitated form.
Let's put it this way: Nazi propaganda under Goebbels was generally more accurate than any media house today, left or right.
Right.
We
Correct.
might actually look back to the Nazi period and say, "My God, that was the golden era where even the Nazis were more honest than our mainstream media houses today."
True. I think the social media is kind of a boon where we can search for the truth. So
Yeah,
yeah,
but see, it's not so much about the truth. I find social media is more about self-validation. You find what you want to hear, and that's that.
that's right. That's right. And I think the plethora of YouTube channels is also getting there. So now
Mm,
with the with the American media platforms, social media platforms occupying the mainstream space in India for whatever
mm,
reason, stability or usage, and Indians applying for validation on social media, getting verified handles, and then this thing.
mm.
So don't you think that this is a India being a country of 1.4 billion people, with the American social media, Americans deciding whether they are right or wrong, or
Mhm.
is it really true? Is it really good for India in the long term? Because I don't see any Indian social media giant coming out so far.
So here's the thing: it's obviously not good. See, on one hand, it is good because people should have whatever options they want and to express them in whatever way they want. So Twitter for crapping publicly, Facebook for God knows what. I'm not even on Facebook anymore. It's so boring. And Insta for showing off. The thing is, India does not have the ability to monitor and regulate these platforms. And as long as you do not have the ability to do that, you're essentially outsourcing Indian constitutional guarantees to a foreign body, which is the most dangerous thing you can do. It is a severe abdication of government responsibility to foreign organizations. For me, it's virtually treason. But obviously, that's not how the government sees it. So, best of luck to them.
So in the one of the media reports which came out, again I'm quoting media, but the social media I'm quoting out, the the Indian Navy ships visit to all the countries in the world, different countries in the world. They went to Brazil, they came to US, they came to Indonesia and other countries they went.
Mm.
It was very widely publicized in the Western social media and the Western media, and it like showed coming off of age of Indian Navy. That's how it was
Mm.
represented. Like in San Diego, they got a very warm welcome by the American Navy, and this is the first time they had a frigate with the. It was a frigate, not a destroyer,
It's not the first time they've come several times over before.
on the West Coast first time. East Coast, they must have come.
No,
San
no, I was there about 10, 12 years back when there was a naval frigate that had come. So that's not accurate. They've
on
come
the
several times.
well, it was publicized as the first visit to the West Coast.
Okay.
It was
Mhm.
publicized the first visit to San Diego. Any naval ship had come. I was also to the impression that INS Ganga had come. Was under the impression,
Yeah.
but I am wrong, because that was how it was reported. So I thought that I should correct
Okay.
myself. So anyway,
Yeah.
it was widely publicized, Indian Navy coming off of age, and also there were some analysts, and I spoke to them personally. They were also surprised at the sophistication. It was a made in India ship, obviously with the Russian
It's a
technology.
Russian ship. It's a Russian ship. It's built in Russia. There are a few Indian things on there, but it's a Russian ship for all effects and purposes. All the weapons on it are second grade Western weapons. The ships are second grade Russian weapons. So, I think we have to distinguish between, obviously, you can't come aboard an Indian Navy ship and say it's crap. So, I think we need to differentiate between people, being polite and people being honest. You can't go to somebody's house, eat an absolutely ghastly meal, and say that was the shittiest meal you ever had. You have to, munch through that inedible whatever it is and say, very good. It's so lovely. It tastes so delicious. And then, try to wash it down because it tastes like a public toilet. You have to do this. It's a bit like that. So let's not confuse being polite with being honest.
Yeah, the ship which came to San Diego, it was in Wikipedia. It says to be made in Mazgon docks. It is made in India. There, INS Satpura,
Which ship was it?
INS
Okay.
Satpura, INS Satpura.
Hmm.
So the coming on to the India Pakistan cricket match, and with all the shit which Pakistan does to India regularly, constantly, despite being bankrupt, so still the cricket matches were celebrated. And it is a hypocrisy in a sense that troops are dying on the borders, and
Hmm.
the match is being celebrated. And with the current Bollywood, whatever is going on, and the correction
Hmm.
going on, so how do you view as a cricket match improving relationship between a terrorist state and India?
I don't. Like, look, cricket is one of those things where it has to be played for your international rankings. You can't do what Arab states or Iran do to Israel. You can't just walk off the field, right, and tank yourself. So you have to play it. Did you see the nasty comment that the foreign ministry put out, saying that we're not well, it wasn't put out officially, but it was leaked to lots of channels who carried it as front page news, saying that you know talks aren't going anywhere. There's no prospects of engagement or anything like that. So don't read too much into the cricket.
True. Very good. Very, very true. Now, if you look at the today's American politics, and it is going from bad to worse. And just yesterday, Tulsi Gabbard put out a tweet that we can only be. It's a 2014 moment for USA now.
Mm,
Hopelessness between what was the hopelessness in India is which is the same in the US today. They don't know which direction the country is going internally.
mm.
And so the is it like the American policymakers, State Department, which promoted extensively anarchy in all the other democracies, is coming home to roost now, because the same thing which they promoted other countries is coming within the US.
Well, I mean, ultimately, this is what we call blowback, right? It's what happens when you believe your own propaganda, and it ultimately fires back on you. So it's good. Let it happen. Who's complaining? I'm not complaining. Are you complaining?
I'm just watching. I'm an observer. I don't comment on much politics because it's beyond me right now, because it's can't understand anything what is going on. And
Right. So,
I tell you one thing, like my son came back from the school and he showed me his textbook and says, Papa, is it true that Krishna created the caste system? This is the textbook in, and my house is like a Bhagavad Gita house. We are read Bhagavad Gita every day, and we read in multiple times. I have written 2 translations on it. So
mm,
Krishna created the caste system. I said, nowhere is mentioned in Gita. Nowhere. He says it naturally exists. But the point which I'm trying to say is a blatant propaganda misrepresentation of anything non-Christian. Anything. It doesn't mean it's just Hindus. It's Islam also. It's other cultures also. Blatant misrepresentation. The Islamic organizations in the US are able to rewrite it. Hindus are not able to
mm.
rewrite, and it's not done. And you saw recently there was a hate crime in Dallas where the woman Esmeralda Upton said that blah 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 to that three Indian ladies, and who were blatantly said we are anti-Hindutva. They said it, so they went to
Which is
jail.
why I support Miss Upton. Upton, isn't it? What
Upton,
was her name? Cassandra Upton.
Esmeralda Upton.
Outstanding citizen. Outstanding citizen. I support Esmeralda or Cassandra, whatever. Cassandra Upton. She picked on the right people. Those three deserved what they got. And Cassandra nailed those three. She might not have nailed the entire community, but she definitely nailed those three bankers.
I mean, I'm going to put this as the headline of the video. Abhijit Iyer Mitra supports Esmeralda Upton.
Is it Esmeralda or Cassandra? What is it?
Esmeralda.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Great.
She was drunk, and these three ladies were pretty well
You
off.
know what they say about you know what they say about drunk. In vino veritas. In wine lies the truth. So she was being honest. And the beauty of the entire situation is she picked on essentially three pieces of trash. So good on her. You might not have nailed the entire Indian community, but she definitely found the correct three pieces of trash to go apeshit about.
Her son put out a tweet that we are not part of any Hindu fascist organization. Now, he did not understand that
Obviously, trash is born to trash. So, it's like very good. They got what they deserved. Esmeralda Upton, good on you. You go, girl.
so see the thing is, the funny thing was she was more picked at their accent because they were irritating her more, and then and it went from a jibe to a full blown, like she did a frontal attack, typical, like passionate Mexican American, typical.
And this is the amazing thing. She's Mexican American. She's colored. Technically, she's colored. Ain't it amazing?
It was amazing, and the whole thing was so funny. Like I showed it to my son and my daughter. He said, "What do you think of this video?" He said, "Those three Indian ladies were really idiots because
Yeah.
they could have easily walked away from that situation, and they kept on."
Look, this is your typical cheap wives of IT trash, lower middle income families who go there trying to fit in. Unfortunately, Americans also have to realize, eh, just because you import people who have qualifications on paper, it doesn't mean that they're not trash. Because remember, you can buy the finest turkey for Christmas at the supermarket, but you keep it on the shelf without refrigeration for a day, and it's going to stink worse than any public toilet. So this is what you got. Alas, commiserations, America, but you got what you deserve.
You went very far because there are many IT guys who are very good, very very good, very.
No, IT guys are very good. What did I say? IT guys come. The problem is lots of trash also gets through the filters.
I have a lot of experience, but I'll share with you in private, not on the show. The
Mm.
one of the things which happened after that incident is a mass scale Mexican American apology to many Indian groups. I got it myself in
Oh.
San Diego. and and,
Oh.
and I said, this karma is a bitch. It just happens. Karma is karma everywhere. So if you
Oh.
it comes in a different way. Anyway, so the next topic that I want to say is a question which has come out, is that the new Indian foreign policy seems to be very assertive, and and in
I
terms
mean,
of,
we keep getting asked this question every 2 weeks. It's not assertive. It's a lot of flash and flamboyance, but it's not assertive. It's only doing what India's done over the last 70 years, nothing more, nothing less. Never get onto one side, never take sides. Look out for yourself and stay out of other people's business. That's pretty
that's
much been the same thing for the last 70 years.
that's the
There's
right
nothing
thing.
assertive about it.
That's the right thing to do, actually. So when we talk about China and India, and I want to tell Americans generally that India and China are going to play this elephant dragon tango, and nothing is going to change. What is your view on that?
Sorry, repeat? I
India
didn't
and
get it.
China are going to continue to play this tango, dancing at the
Yeah,
borders, China occupying
yeah,
land, India accepting it later on.
yeah, yeah. It's going to continue. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change.
One last question. I know you have to go. And is the Bollywood boycott phenomena, which is going on right now, correcting the
Okay,
narrative?
let's be clear about one thing. There is no Bollywood boycott phenomena. These boycotters are getting too much attention. The fact today is that people, like, when Netflix came about, it destroyed video outlets like Blockbuster and things like that. So everybody knows that these movies are ultimately going to come to Netflix or HBO or something like that, and they're like, why the hell am I going to go spend money in a movie theater for this? Right. So it's a oversaturation of the market. The same way that Netflix destroyed Blockbuster, it is now actually destroying blockbusters, right? That people had to go watch. The second issue now is, because of Netflix, Indians are so exposed to so much stuff. Like Fauda, the Israeli series, is a huge hit in India. Every time Israel has its national day around here, they fly down some Fauda actor or the other, because then they know everybody who's invited will actually attend National Day celebrations. Right? It's people in India are watching Money Heist, Casa de Papel, the Spanish hit series. They are watching things like never before. They're watching quality stuff like things like Delhi Crime, which is actually really, really good series. I mean, all of you guys should watch it. They're watching stuff like that, and Bollywood is putting up the same bullshit over and over again. I mean, look, a Bollywood, if for all our viewers who haven't watched a Bollywood movie, it's just really simple. Boy meets girl, boy falls in love with girl, boy marries girl. Okay, now they wear different costumes, they dance different things. The mother father boyfriend girlfriend permutation combination is different. The villain usually is different. Sometimes the one of the parents throw the tantrum. In the rare occasion, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend die, or one of them dies. This is the only permit. All Hindi movies are all Indian movies are permutations and combinations of this exact story. It is the same story being told over and over and over again. That is Bollywood. There has never been any innovation in Bollywood in the last 25,000 years. Human beings have evolved more in 25,000 years than Bollywood evolves in the last 50, 60 years. Right? At some point, something's going to crack and they're going to be like, enough. I've got better things to do for cheaper. And that's that. It's just Bollywood reaching the Peter principle now. Its saturation point. Nobody has time for this crap anymore. Especially when you've got third-rate dialogues, third-rate acting, and third-rate whatnot.
And the Top Guns,
And look, people aren't chosen for acting. Girls are chosen because they've gone to a fantastic plastic surgeon to get their nose fixed. Boys are chosen because they've gone to a fantastic personal trainer to get their abs fixed. And that's about it.
The Top Gun movie has done crossed $1 billion sales. 1 billion.
So sad. It was such a bad movie. Just such complete bullshit. This is the problem. If you work in defense, you know that this whole thing that GPS jamming was going to take out the F-35 was just such total bullshit. Right? I was like, that right from the get-go, the movie's been destroyed for me.
Absolutely.
So, it was like, oh God, I mean, I can't even watch this crap anymore now. I was like, I just had to go through the motions to see if there was any good shooting sequences. And even that wasn't very good. And the acting was really, really bad. So, it shows that there's a market for bad shit as well.
And also the F-18 shooting down a 5th generation fighter with bullets.
Ain't that amazing? Okay, so that was one of the few things I can actually believe. Okay, that's one of the things I can actually believe, because those Russian fighters, you see, they would have had inside their obsolete. That's the Su-57, which India rejected. We had signed up for joint development of that plane, and we decided it was obsolete, it was crap, it wasn't a 5th generation fighter, and we walked out of that program. So I can totally buy an F-18 actually shooting down an Su-57. I buy it. That was one of the more realistic things about the movie. Surprise, surprise. And that should tell you a lot about how crap the movie was.
So if you compare the F-18 and the Rafale and the Sukhoi MKI, do you think these 3 planes are comparable in any way?
They're all very different. They're meant for different, well, I mean, okay, they're meant for the same role, but they do the same role very, very differently. Right. So the Sukhoi would work great up in Russia, but it's not going to work. I mean, you're seeing the performance of the Sukhoi in Ukraine, aren't you? How many of them are getting shot down?
Surprisingly, it's like
and they're flying low, like old. They're flying at altitudes that no coalition airplane. The last time coalition airplanes flew this low was in 1990 during the Iraq invasion, where some planes flew low to avoid radar. Today, they all fly high because they just jam the shit out of everything and carry out wild weasel missions and destroy radars and crap like that. Russian planes are still being shot down as we speak. 6 months into the war. 6 more. Yeah, is it 6 months? Yeah, it's 6 months now into the war.
7th month.
Yeah. So they're still being shot down. It should show you how much crap there is. All right. Now, F-18 is a completely different beast to the Rafale. I know they're both naval optimized fighters and things like that, but they achieve their purposes in very different ways, and they're just different design philosophies and things like that. They're both fantastic aircraft.
And most of the maybe the world people who are watching will not know that F-18s they do work in the desert situation, because most of the time they're tested in California deserts, Mojave and Nevada deserts, mostly there.
Or as we say in India, Mojave.
Mojave.
Mojave Desert.
The J is not, J is silent in Spanish language. It's called
No,
Mojave.
but we in India we call it Mojave. And if
Mojave.
any Spanish speaking Mexican says Mojave, I think it's racism. I think you know better than Cassandra Upton. Oh no, what's her name? Esmeralda Upton.
Well,
That's right.
in India, they call Myanmar Janta as Junta in the TV shows. It's
No,
funny.
but it is junta. It is junta. It's a Spanish word. It's not janta. It's junta. It's a
but our,
Spanish. So we assume it comes from the Indian word janata, the people's
yeah.
whatever. It does not. It is a Spanish word and it is pronounced junta.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Till day when I used to say Tijuana, I used to get nailed down in San Diego. I said, "What the hell you're talking about?" I said, "J and H are two different sounds."
Yeah. So I only say Tijuana. Tijuana, Mojave, and I say janta.
Anyway, I
Okay,
know
I've
you
got
have
to
to
run
go.
now.
Okay, and viewers, thank you for watching. Do share, subscribe, and let us know your feedback. Namaste and thank you.
Thank you. Tata bye.
Bye.